It's difficult to condense our bus life experience. There were times where living in the bus felt like we were unraveling life's greatest mysteries. Other times, it just felt like being houseless. All good things must come to an end, and the only constant is change. In this video, we explain our decision to sell the bus, where we've been, and what's next. Hi guys, welcome back. You may have noticed that Eric and I have been a little MIA the past couple of months, so we really just wanted to sit down and give you an update of everything that's been going on. We sold the bus. We are excited about that. It's a new chapter, but we just wanted to explain why we did that, where we've been the past couple of months, and what we're going to be doing moving forward.
It was a awesome time of our lives and
amazing chapter.
Amazing. And you guys were there with us, so we wanted to just kind of close the book on it.
So we sold the bus in August. It's now the end of November going into December, and there were quite a few reasons leading up to why we sold the bus. Towards the end of it, we just kind of felt like we freaking did the thing. We built our bus, we traveled around in it, we full on lived in it, and it was time. But there were a lot of reasons why it was time for us.
There were a lot of reasons.
A lot of reasons, yeah.
And there was like a small buildup, and then a few major key things happened where it just really didn't make sense for us in the lives we were living. I think the general blanket thing was we weren't traveling anymore. Enough, I guess. We could get out and do a weekend. We could do 5 days here and there, but we started having to go back to the same spot, every week almost. And
for work.
Yes.
Yeah. So even though we were living on the road, we were living on the road in the same town.
We were living on the street.
Yeah. So it didn't really make sense for us. The luster of living van life kind of fades away when you're in the same spots every day.
I just met a fellow nomad. He and his family live on the road full time, and we talked about, when you don't move a lot, how you begin to feel if you're having to be in the same location in an urban environment. I think he summed it up great in 2 words, and you just feel less than. We really connected on that because there are times you just feel less than having to be in the same place. We were very recognized in the little town that we kept going back to, and we would pull up to the beach at these awesome locations, but it was the same location we probably did 100 days in the same state park.
Every day you're driving through the gate just saying hi to the person who's checking your tags. And
they don't even need to check anymore.
Yeah, they just know your face. All of the things that come with living on the road, getting your water, cleaning out your composting toilet for us every other day. It just got to the point where it didn't make sense. We were ready to have a place to go to every night that we knew we could be, that we were allowed to be at, and where we had facilities to use. Honestly, that was a really big part of it.
Yeah, and I think we would have stuck it out longer if there was a huge financial benefit. And we did a really deep dive into how much we were spending in the bus, and we were not saving money. Every time we would do a huge trip, there was almost an expense that came along with it. Like we did the Highway 1 trip, the engine broke down, and we spent over $1,000 in gas, almost $4,000 in fixes.
Yeah. The expenses that Eric mentioned really all came down to repairing the engine or having to repair something in the bus.
But we did a ski trip and had to do leaf springs with that. We we did a little trip into the desert and then came back and our turbo was out. I mean, it was almost every time it was like, oh, you go on a trip and then you spend money to keep the vehicle going, which makes sense, obviously. But
I feel like by the time we sold the bus, we had either repaired or replaced all of the
Everything.
important parts in the engine. So maybe if we'd held out longer, we would have started saving money. But at that point, the way we were living, we were just ready to settle down and have a spot to call our own. I think that we would have lasted a lot longer in the bus had we had a plot of land or somewhere where we could specifically park it every night and feel comfortable and just know that we weren't going to have somebody coming and knocking on the door telling us we needed to leave. Had we had that kind of security, we would have probably been able to stay in the bus a lot longer, but it was just kind of a pressure on our shoulders that just came around every evening, and we were just ready to be relieved of that and be in a place that we knew we could be every night and be comfortable without having just that thought in the back of your mind.
yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do bus life, right? Like, you can be out in the middle of nowhere, and if you can make money and do your life like that and go campsite to campsite, maybe you choose to pay for that. You know, maybe those stresses aren't there for you. I mean, our situation is unique to us, so we're not speaking to every bus life experience. I know there's people out there that have a totally separate experience than us.
And they can work fully remote or have a way that they make money and they can do that completely off the grid, but for us that it just didn't work out right now.
Yeah, and speaking to the pressures, you know, I thought this bus life thing would just relieve all your normal life pressures, financially, you know, stresses of everyday life. And I thought that once we got on the bus, all of that would go away. And it really didn't, you know. I mean, we all go through life. We all have those same pressures that comes with it. And that's whether you're living in a bus, whether you're, you know, have a family in a house somewhere. I mean,
there's always going to be some kind of societal pressure or internal pressure that you put on yourself.
Or day-to-day things.
Yeah.
I mean, we would leave our bus both to go work in a parking lot with all of our belongings in it. That was stressful. Every time I turned that key in the morning, I was a little, you know, had a little worry in the back of my head if something wasn't going to sound right, or if we're out in the middle of nowhere and it wouldn't start up for us and we had to get towed out of a location, and how much that would cost and where we would end up if it was in a shop. So, you know, it doesn't go away. And bus life, van life, all of that is definitely romanticized to make a viewer. I mean, we got caught big time.
We got caught into that, and I think we're also kind of guilty of perpetuating that in a way. Because we want to share the amazing moments. We want to show the new experiences, the new places that we visited, and so that's what we did. But you don't see the everyday kind of struggles that you go through with life on the road on YouTube or Instagram or anything, because that's just not, it's not what's popular, it's not what people want to see. And that's kind of why we're, you know, circling back and we want to explain kind of why we sold the bus and why we are making a life switch that's just healthier and better for us in this stage of our life.
Yeah, I mean, bus life, we had the highest of the highs and super lows. I mean, it was just extreme roller coaster. We'd be out doing something incredible, whether it be skiing or traveling or whatever it is. And then we come back to the town we're in, and our spot is in a line of RVs that aren't too great looking, and one guy's sleeping on a blanket on the ground not too far from you, and that's what that night looks like. I mean, it's extreme highs, extreme lows, and we were kind of ready to just get a stable place for us. You know, our relationship was strained at times. I went through a tough time early part of this year where I was over it, man. I was super over it.
Yeah.
And Sarah started looking for a job, and she landed something that we kind of had to be in the same area, and it just made sense to transition out. So
Yeah.
that's what we did.
When he started leaning towards being done, I started thinking about it, and we just knew that that would be the best for us together, and also individually, honestly, just for our mental health. And like Eric said, for that stability, we were ready for some more stability.
In May, Sarah got a job, and June 1st, we moved into an apartment. And a month and a half later, an amazing person came along, and she bought the bus, and she's been taking it all over the country already. And that transaction couldn't have gone any better. So
Yeah. It was, I'm not going to lie, it was really hard to watch the bus be driven away by somebody else. I know we're both sentimentally attached, but I think I had more of an attachment. But it was also really painful to be living in an apartment and then seeing it just parked out on the street, not getting used. And that in itself was a shame. We put so much work and love into that bus. It needed to go continue on and have somebody else use it to the fullest. And the girl who bought it from us, I couldn't have picked a better person for it. I mean, I thought we were, free spirit hippies, but she's a whole nother level. And it's great to see her live her dream out in it and just continue what we started. And yeah.
all right. So where we've been, that's a second part of this. And that kind of leads into it, is when we moved into an apartment, it didn't feel right really making videos of being in the bus, and we were still trying to figure out, like, it was a whole big transition for us.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, emotionally, logistically, physically. I think it took me a good couple of weeks to kind of mourn the loss of the bus, and we just needed to take a break and refresh ourselves and then come back to it with a good headspace and new energy and just excitement to restart everything all over again. It's the weekend, Eric. This is what weekend warriors do.
We haven't done a video in a long time.
I know, it feels all brand new all over again.
All right. And that kind of leads into what's next. So you guys have seen that our channel is now bona fide outside. And being a 9-to-5er, self-employed, we have to, get out when we can. And I think that's almost more relevant to you guys, our viewers. Not everybody's a bus life nomad full time. I know a lot of you guys are, but we just want to seize the moment, whether it's 30 minutes for lunch or running out for sunset or leaving Friday as soon as you clock out and getting back late Sunday night. That's what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to kind of, encourage everyone to do on our channel.
Oh.
Hey, buddy.
Jeez.
That was, our whole thing about the bus. We wanted to live in the outdoors. And we did. And we also lived next to dumpsters. But now we are getting out when we can. So we needed a vehicle that suited us for our new approach. And we spent a lot of time looking at all the different options. I mean, we looked at vans, high top, low top, old, new. We looked at, we didn't want an old van. We wanted something reliable. That was like my only thing.
I wanted an old van.
Yeah, I wanted something that I wasn't worrying about all the time.
Yeah.
We looked at SUVs with a rooftop tent, high gas mileage, which wasn't for us because we do so much extreme cold stuff. And we settled on a truck camper. You guys probably saw that we had the opportunity to try one out with four-wheel campers, and I just think it's the full package. We love it.
Having the experience to take one of their campers and take it for a week, take it wherever we wanted, off-road, to the mountain,
Wherever
we wanted, just really opened my mind up to it. I didn't think that was the best option, but after doing it and seeing how comfortable you could be, how nimble you could be, and put it on a great performing vehicle, really sold me on it and kind of led us down the path to where we are now.
Yeah, so I think our next video will dive into what truck we got and why, and kind of our plans for it a little bit more. But we did purchase a truck with money that we got from the bus, part of the money, and we have a camper ordered to be installed on March 3rd. So we're extremely excited for that. We do have a couple trips planned with a four-wheel camper truck in the next couple months. So right now we went up to Mammoth, we did some snowboarding, came into the desert, and next week I'm actually going down to Baja with them. And then pretty much all of February we have a truck. And we have some really cool plans to do a big, long road trip and still work 9 to 5. Maybe me dropping Sarah off at an airport and picking her up at another airport and doing different legs, maybe leaving the truck in long-term parking and going back for it. We're doing this in a new way, and we're really excited for that. And part of that is the build.
We chose to get an empty camper.
Shell.
It's a shell camper, partially because it was definitely easier on the wallet, but also because we had a really good time and bonding time building at the bus. So this is another opportunity for that. But in addition, if we build it out ourselves, we can make it exactly how we want it. And this will be a much smaller space compared to the bus, so I think every teeny tiny detail and space that we use is going to make a huge difference in how comfortable we are and how fuel efficiently we can get there.
Yeah, so it's going to be super lightweight. It's going to be exactly how we want it, and we're doing another build, so we couldn't be more excited for that. And we just want to say to all of you guys, thank you so much for your support throughout the bus. We couldn't be happier to have it, kind of live forever through video. And we're so glad that we did that.
Yeah. It was just so special to be able to share that chapter with you guys and be able to bounce ideas off of you and, share where we went, have people suggest new places to go, things that we could do with the bus. So it really feels like we built a community with you guys, and
we don't want to leave it.
Yeah, we don't want to leave it. We want to continue it. We love you, and we appreciate all of your support that we've had the past couple of years.
So look forward to some more videos. We're excited to get back into it, and thank you all for being there for us. Yeah.
Without further ado, we'll see you next time.
All right. Hopefully it's still rolling.